Hey everybody, how is it going? I've got a few thoughts on my mind that I thought I'd like to share with you. And it's basically, you don't need to be skinny to ride a bike. Now, I've never been the lightest bike rider. And also, I wasn't the world's best bike rider. I think that's pretty obvious by now. But I was very happy with what I did on a bike and what I currently do. But you see so much focus on people saying, I want to lose weight, I want to do X, Y, Z. I want to be 70 kilos, not 75 kilos. Now, I alluded to all of this the other day, but ultimately, weight is relative and it is not going to make a difference until you're heading towards like a national level of racing or higher. You're much better off being more powerful. So for most people that are focusing on losing weight, they benefit much more by not being on a calorie deficit and instead focusing on building power. And the younger you are, actually, the more important that is. So if you're 12, 15, 18, even 20, you're still developing. And it is so important when you're developing not to restrict the calories you're eating, because your body needs it. You're not just trying to recover from your training, you're also trying to grow, and every part of your body is developing. And for some people, that's going to be until you're in your mid-20s, roughly. A lot of people won't hit their peak performances until their late 20s. So all of those years of development will be stifled if you're trying to restrict your calories. Not to mention the sort of issues you can have in later life, thyroid problems in the extreme case scenarios, bone density issues. And that's why it's also really important to maintain a lot of other sports within your training programs. And that's something that I definitely left out when I was younger. I did once have a DEXA scan which measures bone density, and to be really honest, I can't actually remember what the results were, other than it was definitely on the low end of what was possible or what I should be having for my sort of size and weight. So not quite sure how I go about changing that, other than including other sports and hoping that it doesn't deteriorate further, and having a healthy, balanced diet and not restricting my calories any further. So I spent a lot of time recently thinking, partly because my own weight had gone up a little bit and all the rest of it, it'll come off as a byproduct of the workload I'll do. I'm not going to pay too much attention. I'm going to cut out the foods that I increase, so the sugary stuff, the chocolates, I mentioned this before, alcohol. But when I look back to the peak of my fitness and when I felt physically the best on a bike, we did have access to body scanning and all the rest of it. And to my surprise and disappointment at the time, I had 11% body fat. So I've never been a lean, skinny person. Those crazy low body fat percentages that you see at the top level of sport, so bodybuilders that are getting down to their really light, skinny weight for competitions, or the show bodybuilders, I don't actually know what that competition's called, to be honest. Not really my scene, is it? And athletes that are trying to get down to race weight for mountainous events like the Tour de France, those weights are held for such a short period of time. It's just not healthy. Look at all those riders in the winter. That's much more representative of the sort of bodies that they really have, and they're not these skinny freaks of nature that you see in the peak of summer. And I think it's so unhealthy, and it's not jumping on a bandwagon, it's just something that recently really annoyed me, because it's clearly something that a lot of people are worried about. I was exactly the same when I was 18 years old and I went to France to race for the first time. I went to a little team in the south of France in the Ardèche, and they had this absolute obsession with me being 64 kilos. Well, just said I was 82 the other day, and as an adult I've generally been about 74 to 76, depending on which stage of my career. You probably hear I miss a ton. And it's just this weird old school obsession. And what makes me really think of it is a conversation I had the other day with someone whose opinion I highly respect, where you've got these absolute beasts coming up through the sport who have never tried to restrict the amount of calories they're eating. So their muscles have always been properly fueled, they've always completed, the intervals have been set, and they've always ridden in the belief that they can do whatever they want to do. These guys are absolute machines, and they are so much stronger than anyone who's tried to restrict the amount of calories they've had or done crazy long training rides with no intervals. These guys are like a new breed. They know how to use power meters, they know how to race. They're like the complete packages. and they're not necessarily skinny. If they're skinny, it's because they've been doing a lot of training, a lot of racing, and it's just happened because they're overworked. It's not because people are making this massive effort to be really skinny for the entire season. It's not healthy, and I think it's worth everyone knowing that if you want to be a good cyclist, being powerful, being energetic is so much more important than feeling like you're being restricted the entire time and you're not enjoying it because of it. It's just my 2 cents, or 2 pence in the UK, but I think it's really important that people know there is much more to cycling than just riding up a hill fast. I'd much rather blast out, for example, I always put out more power on the flat, probably because I'm built for higher speeds and my legs prefer riding at a higher cadence. So don't obsess with riding uphill, there's just no need. You know, it's horses for courses and being confident in those events. I just really wanted to put that out there, really. Bit ranty, bit of a weird one, but I thought I'd share it anyway. So just focus on getting stronger. Like if you go to the gym, you're generally more obsessed with lifting heavier weights. On the whole, that's why people go to the gym, right? Same with cycling. Become more obsessed with going faster, pedaling harder, and do it in shorter bursts as well, because that's going to help improve your average speed in the long term. If you go out and chase your average speed on every single ride, you're not going to get faster. You'll get used to riding at the same sort of monotonous pace, but it won't make you quicker. You need to kind of polarize the sort of rides you're doing. Go slow for a while, go faster later. It definitely works. Seems counterintuitive. Nice, thank you. Seems counterintuitive, but it does work, I promise. You'll be fresher when it matters, and because of that you'll be able to push harder. But also, if your rides are more polarized, so they're not all the same, you do some easy rides and some really hard rides, that'll be better for your body because you'll be fresher, as I said before. If you want to get a really fast average speed, you probably only really want to try it once a week, otherwise this is going to be too much. Include some other efforts, some short 5-minute efforts to replicate riding up hills real fast, some short 30-second efforts to really increase your anaerobic capacity, things like that. They're good fun in a weird way. So go on then, since I'm in a bit of a ranty mood, as it were, no idea why. You don't even need a nice expensive bike to be a bike rider, do you? Or to enjoy riding a bike. I swear, some of the most fun I've ever had on a bike is on a €50 Opie's bike, as it gets called in Holland, in the Netherlands. Like a city bike with full-length mudguards and wheels that just aren't up to much. Those things, what do they weigh? Like 20 kilos? You can carry all your shopping in them. You can carry a person on the back, person on the front, much to the disgust of the owner of the bike. Cycling is meant to be this amazing inclusive sport, and it just, I don't know, feels a bit elitist, and it really shouldn't. I wear what I wear and I ride what I ride because I'm contracted to. It's pretty obvious, I would imagine. But that's not how I started cycling at all. My first race was in a football shirt with a helmet that, no idea how much that thing cost, but it looked pretty dodgy. And I wore underwear underneath my shorts because I had no idea that wasn't really the done thing. All that really matters is that whoever's on the bike is enjoying it, and that's what I think is so good about the sport, is 2 wheels feels like nothing else underneath you. It's just good fun, and it'd be nice if we could all get back to enjoying that instead of this category of cycling versus that category of cycling. As in, we don't really need all these niche names, do we? It's all just called bike riding. Just go out and enjoy riding your bike. It doesn't matter what bike you have, what clothes you wear, how big, how small, any of the other issues which are currently so far beyond my understanding and experience. Just enjoy pedaling and rolling wherever it is you go. If you're in the city, in the mountains, near the beach, cycling is meant to be this beautiful inclusive sport, and it would be amazing if it really still was. And if we could just carry that over into the rest of life, how much happier would we all be if we all drove and, you know, shared a bit of the positive spirit that a lot of bike riders share when they're out enjoying their hobbies. It'd be great. Maybe I'm just happy because it's a nice sunny day, but that's how I feel. And I think the real reason that I feel the way I do about everything that I've just said in this video is the world has changed and cycling's changed since I started 24 years ago, 23 years ago. And I think when I started, I saw it as something that everyone could go out and do. It didn't matter who you were, you know, it was just inclusive, all inclusive. And the first people that I came into contact with in the world of cycling felt exactly the same way. So that's where I was nurtured into the sport. And yeah, I'm incredibly privileged to ride what I ride and dress how I dress. But the amount of hard work that's gone behind that, no one will ever know about or ever see. The suffering, the bad days. So I wear it with pride, but there's no way, I'll be really honest, I can go out and buy all of this stuff. And that's why I really appreciate what I have. But there are people going up in the world that won't see the opportunity that I saw, which then brings me back to why I ride for the team I ride for. It's all about showing people that there is this beautiful world out there, people that don't necessarily see it. That's why I feel so passionate about the Tour of Britain going to Cornwall, what should have been this year, but will now hopefully be next year, is to show a generation or more of people that there's something different out there. You can aspire to be part of something, and you don't even need to ride a bike to be part of it. There are so many jobs in the world of cycling these days, more than ever. The dawn of social media, marketing, it's a big machine. You don't even need to be able to pedal to be a part of it. And I think it's so important that people realise there is opportunity out there. That's why I feel the way I do. I feel this sport, my sport, the sport that I chose to dedicate my life to, so far at least, it should be for everyone. And I wish there was a way of making it more possible. I wish there was more that I could do personally. And I'm sure in time I'll work out what that means for me and how I can do it. But I want people to grow up, or grow old, if they're already grown up, knowing that there's this sport out there that wants them to be a part of it, and there's no label given to them, there's no category for it, that you can just get on a bike, looking how they look, wearing what they're wearing, no matter what bike it is, and enjoy it. Right, that is it now. I think I'm done. I think I'm ranted out. But I guess at the end of the day, all I've done is summarise what's wrong with everything in life, isn't it? Everyone's categorised. Everyone has to be stuck into this category so that we can separate them away from being one of us. I think it's just wrong. We should all be equal. It's no matter who we are, what we do, what our beliefs, choices, religions, country of origin, skin colour, sexual preferences, should all just be treated the same. Unless you're a bad person, then you shouldn't be treated the same. That's a bit different, isn't it? Trying to make a light-noted end to the video there. Anyway, so to summarise, don't lose loads of weight if you want to ride a bike. Get powerful, fuel well, enjoy the ride no matter what bike it is you're on. Be nice to people. Sure, the world would be a lot happier. And now that I've got those thoughts out there, I feel a lot happier too. Don't worry, normal service will be resumed. I had some really cool adventures last week and I'm slowly turning them into videos. So we'll share them with you very soon. Take off. Found these in the drawer the other day. 5 years old, but brand new. You can't quite see it now. They got Speedy Opie etched into the lens, which is really very cool. Anyway, more videos coming very soon. Hope you're all staying safe, hope you're all staying well. Be nice to people and enjoy riding your bike. Sorry about the rant, but cheers for listening. Bye bye bye.